Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at this very Scottish German beer. Yes, that's right, this is a HELLES style lager from the Black Isle Brewery up in Scotland. As many of you will know, they are one of my favourite breweries ever, frankly. And this is, well, a relatively new lager. Now, I have had it before and I've probably had it for the last year, so I reckon it probably came out, year or so ago. I've not reviewed it yet though, just because for a long time it was only available in their tap room, but that has recently changed. And by recently I mean sometime in the last year. But why am I reviewing this today? Well, following on from my previous video, which was basically just going through my entire beer fridge, that one over there, I asked you lovely people what I should review next. And long-time viewer of the channel, Always a Red, who I know has been and sampled some of the Black Isle Brewery stuff up in Scotland, said he'd like to see a review of this. So that's what we're doing. Let's get into it. Before we crack this open then, here is a quick look at the can. Standard kind of fairly nondescript Black Isle design, I'd say. They've got their nice thorn logo at the top there and just the word HELLES in little dots. They've started going down this line of not putting huge amounts of info on the front of the can. There is a fair bit to read there later on. Standard stuff on that side, of course, and yeah. But in general, an interesting looking design. For this one, I will of course be using my Black Isle Brewery pint glass with the nucleated bottom, which is, well, designed for this beer style. Now, while for most styles you'd say that's a pretty terrible pour, Tom, and I would agree with you, for this style, actually, I think that's pretty much spot on. In the glass then, it's a beautiful, rich golden colour, as always coming across a bit more brown, a bit darker on camera than maybe it really is. It's got a very middle of the road HELLES kind of lager profile in terms of colour, heaps of carbonation zipping up through there. I don't know if you can see all of that, or you can see my terrifying face behind. And a nice solid kind of 3 and a bit finger closed dense bubble white head. That head bodes pretty well for this, to be honest. I did say I have had this beer before, but it's been a while and definitely not in can form, so I'm treating this as effectively as a brand new beer to me. Right then, aromas. Instantly quite fresh, spritzy. It's almost, there's a sweetness, a freshness, almost a kind of vibrancy you get out of like a champagne yeast beer. But you can also tell they've not been stingy with the hops. I'm not necessarily certain there's heaps of hop in there, but there's a definitive floral yet slightly earthy, dank, resinous back end to the aroma that maybe isn't all that common in this style of beer, but a few lingering citrusy notes that just, yeah, this might be a HELLES style, but I feel like the hop profile might be a little different. So, interesting. Let's get into it. Cheers. Wow. Wow. Oh, there's a lot going on there. Very complex beer. It's quite sharp. It's quite, I mean, it's hyper refreshing. The sharpness and the bitterness actually took me by surprise on that one. It's not what I remember from having drunk this beer before, but maybe it has changed. Where to start? Right. A lot of the carbonation has been lost in the glass. It's not very fizzy now, but it's punchy, bitter, slightly fruity, bit of citrus, and still quite hoppy. It's, I'll be honest, not really true to form. And look, as already said, Black Isle, one of my favourite breweries, but that is not what I was expecting. So let's break it down, top to bottom taste test. So initially, mild fruity, almost pale ale experience right on the front of the tongue. Second phase, huge bitterness hit. I mean, it's not the most bitter beer ever, don't get me wrong, it's not insanely bitter, but for the style where I'm expecting nice lashings of big malt, it's kind of giving me the opposite. That goes through into a very nice, refreshing, light citrus profile, which, to be honest, wouldn't be bad on its own amongst a kind of standard Helles profile. And then on the swallow, it's refreshing again, lightly fruited, more kind of sweeter berry fruits, and it is undoubtedly a fantastic summertime beverage. But there's a little bit of herby, dank, resinous, hot profile on the aftertaste as well. Not getting huge amounts of grains of that lovely bready malt, the sweetness. None of it's really there, and that is very disappointing because I know they can do that style because, well, their blonde is somewhat like that, and maybe that's why they decided to make it different. Hopefully the can will help us fill in the gaps here, so let's take a read of it. On the front of the can then, as we've already described, it's just got the logo in Helles written down the front. On the back though, it says Helles again. It says Germany isn't very far away, and by all accounts the Germans make really good beer. They're not wrong so far. Beer we can buy here as it goes, also true. So why would a Highland brewery make a quintessentially German style when the authentic product is almost on the doorstep? Well, our German head brewer, that is information I didn't know, but more on that in a minute. Anyway, it says, our German head brewer happens to be a dab hand at the old lagers, and we don't need a reason other than that we wanted to. Which is fair. It says 100% organic, 50% German unfiltered. Oh, 100. It goes on to say it's 100% organic, 50% German, because of the brewer, I guess, and style, unfiltered, crispy biscuits. And did we mention that it's gluten-free? I wonder if it being gluten-free makes any impact. Is there any more info on here? Ingredients are water, malted barley, hops and yeast. Best before sea base. It's got another 6 months on it, so it's not that. They're a carbon neutral company, drinking nature, vegan society approved, all the usual stuff you get on Black Isle cans. And have I got a Duff can? I mean, the visual, the body is all right, but I mean, is all right, as in it's all correct, not it's all right. It's very good. But since I've taken the time to read what is on that can, the floral, very resinous, hoppy character that I'm getting from it has started to die back a little bit. Could be palate acclimatization, could just be, you know, something that was a result of having just been poured. I'm not sure. But there's still no big maltiness to that, and that is a bit disappointing. However, there is always the possibility that I don't really know what a Helles is. I only know the ones I've drank before. So let's do a quick bit of research to find out, am I mad or is this not quite right? I'm going to go from Wikipedia, which, as we all know, is the font of all knowledge. It's never wrong. Helles or Hell is a traditional German pale lager beer produced chiefly in southern Germany, particularly Munich. The word Hell can be described as bright, light, or pale. I mean, descriptively, as a visual, that is correct. Helles-style beers typically are full-bodied, mildly sweet, and light-coloured with low bitterness. That's what I thought too. That's not what I'm experiencing. The beer is clear due to filtration prior to bottling, although some restaurants and breweries do offer an unfiltered version. Munich-style Helles is a yellow beer brewed using cool fermentation with a lager yeast, such as, and it gives an example of one that's name is by far too complex for me to say. So this is saying that Munich-style Helles uses much more bitter hops. But then again, it also goes on to say that Helles has a less pronounced hop flavour than Pilsner beer, and that's hoppier than pretty much any Pilsner I've ever had. So, I don't know what to say. Black Isle do everything by hand. It's all meticulous, organic, handcrafted stuff. Maybe this is a dud. I don't know. It definitely doesn't remind me of the beer I had before, and I would be very hesitant to tell you to avoid it because, well, I know how much of a good time I had when I had it in their tap room the first time I tried it. So I don't really know what to tell you. Bad batch, dud, can, I don't know what to say, but unfortunately, that one isn't what it's meant to be. Hi, this is me from the future of the past you're now watching. It doesn't matter. I got in touch with Black Isle about this beer because I was just not really sure if it was meant to be like this. Was it a mispackage? This is a different one of their beers in this can because it was a quality beer, just well, it didn't seem to match the very German description they were giving us. And it turns out what they omitted from the can for whatever reason was this: it was intentionally a dry hopped Helles. I don't know why they didn't put on the packaging because it would have, well, omitted a load of confusion. It did also start a bit of a debate on a few live streams about, well, if you're going to make a beer style and change it a bit, and that is changing it quite significantly, let's be honest, dry hopping a Helles, you kind of need to let people know before they buy it. So yeah, let me know what you think of that in the comments below. Anyway, let's get back to the video, and that's all I can say about it. So that is it. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already subscribed, if you would be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.